Hello and welcome to our introduction to how a lab school can use a poll-based learning system for all students to be able to access the resources that is necessary to personalize and challenge their learning. On our Kanban board right now, we are looking at our Getting Started, which explains the background of how a Kanban board works. We have explicit agreements, which tell us the behaviors of these containers, a backlog where all work can be stored before it starts to be done, and below we have our lanes that we can track our progress. So work that's about to be done can go into do, move to in progress when it is active, and done when it meets the group criteria of done and can be handed in. In this project, we are looking at the essential question, how does language affect culture? And so this is a question that can be answered by any age group or any developmental level. And all that would change is the kind of resources that are pulled to them. So how we arranged it in our backlog currently is we have challenges, which are like the application of learning. We have research cards, which is a template I will show you in just a moment. And then we have cards that are sorted by different levels of learning. So we have a high school, middle school, and elementary school level, as we can see in the colors of the cards. But students, as they're going through the learning process, if they want to pull from a higher or lower card, they absolutely can, and I'll show you how that works. So students, when they are ready to start moving, can take their card and pull it down into to do. That means they are ready to start their work. And when we look inside of our card, we see that it can be color-coded to show different meanings on the outside. There's titles. We have owners who are in charge of the card, watchers who make sure it gets done. Here we can set the due dates. In this part, we write the explicit agreements of what the behaviors of the card should be. So we have the intent. We are telling kids how to use this card. In our task, we are going to convert the task to card, which I'll show you in a minute. And then we have the directions. So this part of the card is the same no matter the level, because all students can do these things. They can summarize, they can use question formulation technique, and they can fill out their concept map. And of course, the concept map will vary depending on the developmental group. Down below is where we can see a big difference in the cards, is that on the high school level, these are the kinds of resources that students would be pulling in one of their initial tasks of this project to lay their background knowledge. So we can see that students will be learning about how language affects coding, how it affects math. They can be doing a novel study around 1984 in which the way that language is used is a large theme. They can access videos. So as they go through here, as they complete them, they can check them off. But what they will also do, according to the directions, is they will be making their new cards so they can convert the task to a card. You can see that you can pick the column, and then when we come out of here, this is our new card. And as we do this and we start to watch the video and we write down our main ideas, we can put it into in progress, and as soon as it meets the group's criteria of done, we can move it into done and the work can be submitted. When we go back up top, it is not just about learning, but it is also about application. So in this application, we're talking about language, and we want to have students realize in a hands-on manner how complex language really is. So we're telling them that the intent is to understand the complexities of language, and that they are going to pull these cards across the board just like the last one as we did. The directions will be to create a new language, and so below in our checklist we will have all of these different tasks that they will be doing. Now, as you can see from the checklist, any level of developmental student can do this. So this can be done by 18-year-olds, and this can also be done by 4-year-olds. And they will probably come through with the same kind of reflective process. So it's going to take that application of like how complex is language, and so how can it affect something as complex as culture, and give it meaning for the beginning of this project. Now, throughout this learning experience, students will be tasked with doing their own research, and what we have created are template cards. So anytime a student goes to create a card, up here you can see it in the add card right here. They can add a research card in the template, and the card will show up looking just like this. And so inside the card, the students must fill out this criteria to show that they have to have a topic, they must paraphrase an exact quote, a URL, a publication date, so that we can always verify sources. And then down below, we have a checklist that shows them the steps to do. So this is a template, so the kids can make as many cards of these as they need to complete the work that they are doing on this board. So when students are done, as we can see in our explicit agreements here, we show 2 ways of mastery. We have a writing component and a project component. Of course, these will be differentiated, and that's why we have several rubrics, because we want to assess students where they are. So this concludes how we would use our poll-based system. As you can see, the cards are easily manipulated, and this helps students visually see their workflow, visually see their time management, and so it teaches a deeper level of skill and autonomy than other types of learning would do.